What's up, amazing people of YouTube? I want to talk about some conspiracy theories or conspiracy facts that I actually believe in. And they're not completely tinfoil hat shit, but I've witnessed certain things change within the last 2 decades. So it all has to do with phones, cell phone, any type of phones, any type of communication, okay? So I was a 90s kid, and in the 90s they had payphones everywhere, okay? And it was always in the hood. The hood always had payphones. And even as a youngster back then, I always assumed, because they got rid of a lot of these payphones in LA, but they kept certain ones in certain locations, and they were like cleverly left locations. And I think it all had to do with keeping tabs on certain people, like, because they were like for drug dealers, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They would deal drugs through those phones. They didn't get rid of all of them. Until today, there's a few that still stand in certain areas where you're like, why would they leave that one there, you know? And it's not like they removed them because they weren't making money or they were getting robbed. Because in the early 90s, I remember I was a kid and they were selling keys to the boxes to open them up, the phone box, and get the money out, you know? And it wasn't just one type of key. There was like 6, 12, something like that. There's a variety of keys, and each one they were selling for whatever amount of dollars, right? So anyways, so they got rid of all that once cell phones became really popping, right? Now there was a time when Boost Mobile and chirping became a thing with their slogan, "Where you at?" right? And that was aimed at like the hood, because just the way they presented everything, the way they were commercializing, it was directed at a demographic like that was in the hood. It is what it is. And a lot of people in the hood, like they actually swapped over to the Boost Mobile phones with the chirps. Now, if you know anything about phone tapping laws, you know that it takes a warrant for them to tap your phone, which isn't a difficult warrant for them to get in order to tap your phone, right? But what people didn't realize is when you were chirping, you were on a walkie-talkie, and that didn't fall under California's laws of like being on a phone and that conversation being private. Therefore, they were listening in on people's chirps, and a whole bunch of people went to jail all of a sudden because of chirps, right? And instantly, you know, Boost Mobile just became shit because the word spread like wildfire, like that they're listening to chirps, right? Now, even back then, when like the new iPhones were coming out, like iPhone 2 and 3, during those times, right? I was telling like all my friends and stuff, like, you guys need to understand that like the technology they're presenting and the technology they have are two separate things. They meaning these corporations, and they meaning the Big Brother, right? So what type of technologies do they have? I was saying, listen, man, like, we're at the point where as soon as you say hello, they know who you are. Without you saying, you could have just went and bought a brand new burner phone, and as soon as you say hello, your unique voice is picked up and is systematically recorded amongst everybody. And that's a loophole they're using to kind of like, we're not paying attention to you as an individual. We're just collecting mass amounts of data But then the question becomes, for what? In case one day we want to pull it up on you and look at everything, right? Now, on your phones, back in the day, it used to say answer, and it used to say decline or something, right? Well, now your phone says, when someone calls you, it says accept or decline. Well, those are words for contracts, right? Because answer isn't really a word they use in contracts. But accept, like accept these terms and conditions, accept the subliminal or small print or fine print, or accept the shit, that long ass paper you didn't read when you bought your phone, right? When it says, check out the terms and conditions and stuff. Yeah, that's hundreds and hundreds of pages, and you didn't read that shit. So they swapped that answer button for an accept button, just like a contract, like writing on a dotted line on a check, right? It's a dotted line because those dots are words, they're letters, and by signing there, it's called a clause. It's the last line of a contract, and you sign the clause. So the accept button can just as well be the clause. At the end of the day, it is pigments, right? Like, they have individual pigments that create that word answer on your phone. So technically, it is a dotted line per se, or dotted lines, and it says a word, but you don't know what details hide behind all that shit, So the conspiracy theory that I believe is that they have our voices. They've been listening. They've been monitoring. They've been recording, and that doesn't mean that LAPD has access to it. That means that big government has it. In case you go fucking AWOL and fucking want to do some wild shit that's out of the American wild shit that already happens, just in case, for those reasons. So, and ironically, fast forwarding to recently, I don't know which bank it was I called, but they're like, the robot that's talking to me is like, do you want to fucking us to record your voice so that next time when you call, we know it's you, and you don't have to go through the process of saying who you are and answering questions? I was like, hell no, and I hit the button. I talked to the lady, and I was like, what's up with this voice thing, I was like, that's kind of weird, man. Like, are you guys recording my voice? Because I want to opt out. If you're recording it without my permission, I'm gonna go to a different bank. I don't want you guys to have, what the fuck, my voice? I don't even have my voice. I mean, I have my voice when I speak, but I don't have my voice recorded and shit, Not to mention, imagine all the laptops, all the phones prior to the iPhone, whatever the fuck number we're on. We're on 13 or something, or 14 or whatever the fuck, right? At first, it was just, your codes, your passcodes. So you gave them all your passcodes, right? They know all your PIN numbers and all this shit. And then you gave them your fingerprint, right? On laptops, on the phones, to access your phone, right? And then now it's facial recognition. On top of that, now they have voice recognition. And the way the facial recognition works is, if you're not looking at your phone, you can't open your phone. You have to look at it. It understands when your eyes are not looking, so that doesn't unlock the phone accidentally. So there's real minuscule details to all this shit that most people, it flies over them, and yeah, that's a conspiracy theory that there's a lot of fact in it, and there's some of my opinion in there, but Is that really happening? I think once, what's the dude's name? Snowman came out, people were shocked. And it's like, no, the people in the hood weren't shocked because we pretty much were fully aware of what the fuck is happening, you know? Well, not fully, but for the most part we were aware of what's happening. Other people were like, what, our government is doing this? Yes, our government is a government. It's a very powerful one indeed, and it acts like a government, just like any other government. And what do governments do? They fucking watch the people. They watch for bad people. They watch even for good people. They watch everybody and anybody, you know? And they want to have control. They don't want to lose control. Some are heavy on that foot. Some are not so heavy. The American way is, hold on, let's stay back. Let's not let them know that we're doing this and watching them. And we'll just gather all the information. And if need be, we'll approach it in a slick way. Where if you're in a place like Russia, they'll just come and fucking, you know, come in masks, kick your door down, beat your ass, get you to say everything you've been doing with who, and then that's it, you know? So there's different ways of doing it, man. And China's way is like, when we're not only gonna watch you, but we're also gonna deny you a whole bunch of shit. So there's like all these different ways of how to gather information on your own citizens, right? And there isn't a shortage of movies about these types of things. And those movies are just, even though they're Hollywood movies and they're not reality, they are based on some type of reality. There's a large sediment of truth in it, right? It might be exaggerated to a point, but it's definitely there, and it's subliminally telling you, well, hey, guess what? This is where our technology's at. And it's also telling other countries, look where our technology's at. Don't fuck with us, right? So that's one conspiracy theory that's very interesting to me. That, yeah, I don't know. However you guys feel about it. If you like this, hit the like. If you don't, hit the don't. If you want to reply, write in the comment sections. I'll be happy to respond to you politely. And yeah, you guys have a nice day, and be careful on your phones. And by the way, talking about phones, the way you get service is by triangulation, right? Basically, you have to be connected to 3 different towers. That way they know exactly where you are, and your GPS works and all this stuff. So a lot of people went to jail just by phones being like them triangulating your location. They knew at this time you were here, a phone call went, and there was no one else that made a phone call during that time, and it was you, and they used it against evidence for people to put them away for whatever the fuck they wanted to put them away for. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of little things like that, man. Even burner phones aren't burner phones no more, you know? You gotta go on like Google and fucking, who knows, man? You gotta get like a carrier pigeon or some shit nowadays, you know? It's getting wild, you know? So you guys have a nice day, stay safe, don't get caught up. Peace.